Hey, welcome back, multifamily investors. We're checking last week's sales, multifamily sales in the 5 counties that I watch, and we've got 11 deals that transacted. Most of these are duplexes, and I'd say over half of them were FHA or VA, owner-occupied buyers. That's a lot of what we see on these smaller duplex deals because they don't pencil for us non-owner-occupied investors. Sorry, my phone's beeping off. But let's dive into these so you can see, give you an idea of, what type of inventory is selling for what. And sorry, let me go back and just show you real quick though. The days on market, you can see that the market is still moving along, just warm. 4 days, 3 days, 3 days, 5, 7. There were just a couple that were here that over a month. And then these two ones that were out almost 3 months, 2.5 months. So again, listed for 465, sold for 485. This was an FHA buyer. Duplex in Tacoma, listed for 475, sold for 500. This one was in Tacoma as well, listed for 550, sold 5 over asking. In that case, it's usually probably like the buyer probably asked, built in a little bit of credit to get from the seller at closing to help pay for closing costs, buy down their rate. This one in Spanaway came on and off a couple times, so I think there was something that was probably turning people off, but it was it's listed for 595 and it ended up selling for 567. This one, Olympia, 575, sold for 10,000 over. This one in Lakewood area, listed for 629, sold for 620. It's a freshly renovated duplex. This one in Everett, 815, and sold for 831. They're all duplexes, by the way. And this one too in South Seattle, listed for 854, sold for 859. Probably a little credit back to the buyer. This one is a fourplex in Burien, which is the south end of Seattle a bit. It wasn't all 2 beds, 1 baths. It did have a single 1 bed, 1 bath, which throws off the value a little bit. And it came in low. There were notes in the agent only remarks that it only appraised for 1.195, so almost 100,000 under list. But you can see that it closed for more than that, about 25,000, 24,000 over than what it appraised. So my guess is that the buyer probably made up that difference in cash, maybe through the seller bone or something. You're allowed to do that as a buyer. You just are only going to get your financing based on what it appraises. And then this one in Seattle, it was a 6plex, very close to one of the 7 units I just closed for a client on 65th. This is about 43rd and Finney. And you can see it sold for basically almost $300,000 a unit. And my client that with the 7 unit was just under that as well. So this is about what the market's paying per unit in this part of Seattle for the 6 to 8 unit type of properties. And you can see this one had a studio, a couple 1 beds, and 3 2 beds in it. This is a 6 cap, which is pretty good for that area. I think things are starting to finally creep up a bit, as they should with the financing costs. And then this one, cool property, West Seattle near Alki. It was lit for a while, but they held strong. 3.95, it ended up selling for just a hair under that. My guess is probably a 1031 buyer. That's very likely on these type of deals, moving cash from one deal to another, scaling up. So there you have it, 11 investors transacting and adding to their portfolio. Even these house hackers, I call them investors, they now own multifamily. They are taking steps. They're not going out and buying a big house, buying a duplex, living on one side, instead of pissing away rent every month. Great opportunity to start building some wealth, especially if you're younger. All right, I hope that's helpful. Talk to you next week.